Alright, hello everyone, welcome back again to MALT the 7 Key Apprentice Tournament. We're now back in live for another matchup where we're happening right here. It's the Battle of the Two era members. Me finally commentating with Sparky. How's it going?
It's going absolutely fantastic. It's lovely getting back into another very exciting weekend of quarterfinals action between some very good players. I think this is going to be a pretty exciting matchup, a losers bracket matchup to top it all off. So we will be saying goodbye to one of these players before the match is over.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that this is also fair enough to mention that I think these both of these players, especially with the two era members that are fighting it out to battle against themselves on one after another in the knockout rounds, especially in the losers bracket, where Sirbeyy, in fact, has been fighting it off against Musty in like the previous week. I believe it's like a 5-2 against Musty, and also Jungle moving down to the losers bracket after actually no, yeah, just like fighting against Play 14, which also lost 5-2 against him. So it's a kind of a tough decision to make it out of quarterfinals.
Yeah, for sure. And this will be the first of two matches that these players will have to go through, at least for the winners. For the winner's side, whoever comes out on top here, the winner will be facing off against the winner between Kuos and Shabest later on this weekend. So, a lot to play for as we load into, I think, one of the two warm-ups that these players might have sent in. So,
It seems like this is Sirbey's warm-up by the look of things. Already, kind of a banger song to start off with.
yeah, classic coming through here. Hopefully both players are ready. It's always interesting going into the warm-ups what the players have cooked up.
We already love bamboos here, so we should seeing more bamboos in this particular map.
And as we're going through this introduction, it's probably just going to be about as even as you can get between two players as we make our way through this weekend. I feel like we're starting to really trim off the players that have reached their ceilings already, and now we have the ones that still can potentially make it and take swings at the later game map pools. And it's really just going to come down to overall consistency between these two players.
Yeah, I do feel like this maybe like this one of these maps might be well, I don't want to jinx it, but maybe this is a bit lower on the lower side of the difficulty. Maybe not even like in some sort of like what quarterfinals. Maybe this is like around 16 almost. It's just a matter of like warming up, really.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's always different avenues of approach for the warm-up. You can either really bust something out that's like ridiculously hard just to kind of get your fingers going before you dive down into the lower difficulty stuff, or you can do something like this, just a more methodical, lower pace, lower physicality warm-up in general, just to kind of settle in for what is to come. Because for a lot of these players, I think they have a tendency to kind of overshoot their physicality whenever they normally play. So having to tone it down a little bit, it's kind of like, wait, I don't have to go as fast, and then they start overthinking these patterns.
I mean, it does seem to kind of evenly match for both of these players, really.
Yeah, for sure. This bodes well for the match to come, where if they can both maintain this general level of accuracy where they're within 0.1% of each other, this could really come down to who can just maintain their composure that little bit longer through the map pools, who can hold on to combo just that little bit longer and sneak out some of these points.
It's actually getting tougher, actually, because of the speed up.
Yeah, the classic ending of Take coming through here. Everything just kind of flies off the handle a little bit. Sirbeyy actually able to hang on that a little bit more through that difficulty spike, and actually takes the first warm up here. So
nearly identical judgments for both of these players. You love to see it, especially how backloaded this is.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I mean, this is probably a sign of things to come. And looks like we're not going to have a second warm up. So we're going to get straight into the rolls. Jungle winning the roll 66 to 50. So Sirbeyy going to ban first.
But just by looking at these overall scores, really, these hybrids are just it's anybody's game. So you might just want to take a conventional ban, really, or maybe you're actually banning hybrid too. Actually, coming in this.
Yeah, it's always interesting what the players decide to get rid of in pools like this. I know in other tournaments, whenever there's like SV involved, that's usually like the first target. But whenever SV isn't involved, LN usually becomes the second priority for players to get rid of. So seeing one of the hybrids being removed tells me that there's some LN comfort potentially on the side, or just respecting the ability, like the LN ability for these players. And we're gonna see Rice 4 gotten rid of as well.
Seems that's 808's ban from Earth Jungle. Seems of a little bit less technical as a pick, but I mean nevertheless this would be all the bans that she rode with, and looking like Jungle would probably be picking Ellen straight out of the game.
Yeah, nice break from the conventional picks we have seen, where LN is usually gone by the time we get to the first pick. So seeing LN1 come out here for Jungle to start this match off.
This is more on the slower. I mean, if you notice, every time Search charts something and it's involving LN, this would be either this is very slow-ish LN releases, or it may be just one of the two that makes it so uncomfortable to play, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of know what you're in for whenever you choose a Surf Chew chart, especially in a tournament setting.
Seems a lot of trouble actually for both of these players, actually. Not to mention that the accuracy doesn't really stay above 99 for long either.
Alrighty, and as we make our way into the second quarter of the chart, I mean, both players have kind of settled in to the groove of the chart. Sirbeyy finding a couple of drops very early on, but starting to build up a little bit of combo here as we make our way further in. Jungle still holding on strong, but as I say that, Sirbeyy does find another slider break going into the second quarter here.
Yeah, every time you get to like a little bit more denser LN core usage, it would seem that Sirbeyy takes a lot of an issue with how you coordinate these patterns, and Jungle does seem to grasp beyond what the cores used to be, but staying above, hovering around 99 at least.
Yeah, eking out a full percent, but Sirbeyy doing very well to recover some of their accuracy as we make our way into the back half of the chart now. And Jungle finding a slider break here, gonna put a little bit of a damper on this lead that they have built up. Still in the 30,000 point ballpark, but should start getting chipped away at just a little bit here as we make our way into the back half. And as I say that, the opportunity does go by the wayside. Both players starting to trade a couple of misses here as we make our way into the back half now.
Yeah, it gets a little bit tougher in the complexity, not just by the courts themselves. It just releases in a couple occasions, and it does seem Sirbeyy has a lot of issues on maybe just letting go like early of these long moves.
Yeah, once more than 3 columns become inundated with LNs, just keeping track of which ones you're supposed to release becomes a little bit more of an issue. And as we make our way further, the LN density begins to pick up just a little bit here, and both players actually be taking it for a little bit of a ride as we continue on into this last quarter. Jungle faring a lot better in the exchanges, but falling below that 99% mark now. But Sirbeyy faring down in that 97, not going to put too much of a of a fight in trying to take back some of this lead. Jungle extending it as we make our way into this outro.
Yeah, still staying above pretty consistently, like a whole percent from start to finish. Even then the lead still grows, and it's pretty much a convincing win for Jungle in this case. So it's a well thought pick for Jungle at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. And it opens up basically the rest of the LN pool for them if they can keep up that level of performance despite finishing with one more miss than Sirbeyy. Funnily enough, I think they were able to keep the other judgments pretty clean overall, especially that 200 count. Very nice overall from them.
Yeah, just basically half of the two. No, I mean more than half of the 200 count, which and also the pretty much pretty much better ratio with against Sirbeyy.
Yeah, and Sirbeyy going to opt to go into the upper side of the map. We're going to be Rice 1 coming through here.
Opting for Max. I mean, this is for Max Space Journey, which I would assume that this is more on the more of a high stream ish pick because of the high BPM that is.
Yeah, Rice 1 typically going to be that more conventional speedy Rice pick that a lot of players have gotten used to seeing in that slot. I'm going to see if Sirbeyy can answer back here against Jungle. That strong performance on LN1 with an equally as good performance on Rice 1.
Oh, there's a couple of mishap actually by Jungle in the very intro.
Yeah, finding a very early drop here. Not a very long chart by any stretch of the imagination, clocking in at just under 2 minutes. So misses here get amplified exponentially compared to some of the longer charts in this pool, and you can already see that here. Sirbeyy pulling away even before reaching that 400 combo cap to a tune of about 9,000 points.
There's a lot in this chart to take over, and lots to discover. Actually, Sirbeyy taking quite a noticeable amount of draws, but no misses yet.
Oh, and as you say that,
there's a trade.
The trades. The exchanges only help Sirbeyy though. Jungle really having a bit of difficulty through that one burst, transitioning into the back half of the chart now, and Sirbeyy still able to keep their head above that 99% mark, going to be able to take this lead a little bit and run with it for the moment. 20,000 points, and now the shoe's on the other foot for these two players. Jungle showing off on the LN. Sirbeyy really coming into their own on this Rice chart. Still a quarter of the chart left to go, not over by any stretch of the imagination, but this is pretty commanding lead that they have built up for themselves.
Couple of streams left to go, and I mean, there's not like almost a 0.5%. It's the score difference, but again, there's only like 3-4 misses being dropped by Jungle's side, and Sirbeyy does seem to extend this lead even further with the Jungle's another miss.
Yeah, it just feels like every transition catches Jungle, and both players actually missing the last core. That is the funniest way I've seen that chart end.
Yeah, more misses to account from Jungle's end. 7 more misses than Sirbeyy, but still managing to keep the combo intact for Sirbeyy for even longer than Jungle.
Yeah, the interesting to note here, the fact that Jungle actually able to out-ratio Sirbeyy on that chart is just because of the fact that they had so many misses. It put a real damper on that score. So something to watch out for as we get further into this match. If Jungle can really put a run together on the Rice charts, might be able to take some break points if Sirbeyy isn't too careful. As Jungle goes back down into the LN, it's going to be LN4 coming through here.
A joyful snowball, another Search to LN chart here. Oh boy, we're going to Lost Search's chart even more as the tournament progresses, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. Really, kind of post plugging a lot of their own content here. You love to see it.
Yeah, but this, I mean, I have never seen this chart before, but I feel like this is just more akin to even more wild card than what it already is from the first pick.
Yeah, for sure, and an order of magnitude longer than what we have seen so far. Basically double the length of the last chart we saw. Going to be a bit of a mental stamina test for both of the players, because keeping 7 columns coordinated for this long becomes a bit of a struggle if you're not too careful.
All right, here we go. This seems to be quite a decent back and forth, winning their own picks. So I feel this wouldn't be too far off the mark.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jungle's definitely a little bit more favored on this chart in particular, but anything can happen. It takes one or two bad sections to really throw your performance out the window, and then you find yourself on the back foot for long stretches.
Takes quite a while to get going, but I mean, by taking a while to get going, it's just like very slow coordination that involves like that, something like that is actually still tripping people up. Actually, both of them actually.
Yeah, the first exchanges being thrown out here, and when all is said and done, still about a tenth, almost 0.2% between both players. I think Sirbey's going to be able to chip away at this lead just a little bit if they can cross that 400 combo cap because of the timing of those misses. But as I say that, Sirbeyy finds the break. Jungle trades it back though.
Well, that's actually trading up at the streams right there. Sirbeyy takes a lot of damage, but Jungle actually trades it out. It kind of cancels out each other.
Yeah, neither player really establishing a bit of a foothold here, not able to really take the opportunities given to them and stretch their advantages for the moment, but kind of settling in here. As I say, Jungle finds another slider break that's going to put Sirbeyy back into contention here, going to be able to chip away at this lead. About 3,000 points, going to shrink before too long, and it could potentially flip over if Jungle isn't too careful. They still have a pretty decent advantage in terms of accuracy, but they need to get back up with that 400 combo cap to be able to stop this advance from Sirbeyy.
Jungle did recover his accuracy a lot faster. I mean, by both of them, I mean, still dropping. But actually, Jungle taking a lot of hit, actually. Now the scores are back and forth.
Yeah, they're basically synchronized in all their misses so far. Jungle finding another couple extra, and that's going to swing the lead back on over to Sirbeyy, able to keep it clean on the transitions here.
There's still like, what, around a whole and a half minute to go, which is kind of concerns me a little bit because this pattern doesn't let up even in the slightest.
Yeah, for sure. And another trade between both players. Jungle actually faring a little bit worse for wear now, actually taking a pretty significant chunk of damage. They had the accuracy lead that has gone by the wayside. Sirbeyy now taking control of that and the score lead to the tune of about 11,000 points now, largest lead that they have had, and this isn't even their pick. There's very big breakpoint potential as Sirbeyy finds the drop finally, but Jungle, oh boy, what is that?
Sirbeyy and Jungle were traded, but I think Jungle might have took even more damage than before, actually. Sirbeyy is above, still 97, but oh my god, there's a lot of breaks there.
Yeah, for sure. It was like I was saying at the start of the chart, it's like this is a very mentally taxing chart because of the fact that you have these constant long 2-column anchors, one extending a little bit further, but you have everything else to do around the columns that trying to keep track of everything for that extended period of time becomes a little bit too much to bear. And after all the exchanges are said and done, the combo is within 2 notes of each other between both of these players. Basically 1 LN separating both of them, but the score lead does not reflect that. It is Sirbeyy firmly in control at the moment as we begin to close this chart out.
This pick does not seem to work out in Jungle's favor. It did seem that Sirbeyy is going to take a breakpoint from this.
Indeed, as we close that out, Sirbeyy picking up the first breakpoint in this match, making it 1-2. A very unlikely, not impossible, but definitely an improbable scenario given the performances on LN1 a little bit earlier.
Also, very interesting to notice that the miscount is doubled from Sirbey's. Actually, even that's not even if you take into account the slider breaks. It all seems pretty equal, but the miscount, it does seem pretty extremely high in comparison.
Yeah, it was just that one section towards the 3/4 point where everything just kind of fell apart. It felt like for Jungle there. They had a pretty substantial lead in the first half, just not able to close it out. But that pick's done. They don't have to worry about it anymore. They still have plenty of time to recover. This is a best of 11, so still plenty of points to earn. And Sirbeyy gonna go for Rice 6 here.
Kirby SDX ending. This is also another long chart. It's like sitting around 3.5 minutes at most. But this is the more on the wild card side, and if you do love more wild cards and even longer songs, then I guess this would be the one.
Yeah, we're in for marathons here today. As we get the chart loaded up here, an opportunity for Sirbeyy has now presented itself to capitalize on that breakpoint they have gotten. But Jungle has shown that they are a pretty formidable player. There's still plenty of opportunity for them to take that breakpoint back, notch things up.
Make sure that you got enough foothold to get their combos up, because this song is pretty long for what it is, and combo makes a whole lot of matters. What it matters for jungle at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to get underway. The fourth map of this best of 11 coming through here. See if Sirbeyy can successfully capitalize on that breakpoint, or Jungle can make things 2-2, restore parity, make it essentially a best of 7 at that point.
Relatively simple intro. Well, not simple intro to make out of, but I mean jungle already is like 3 times already.
Yeah, not faring well out of that transition out, and these chords kind of taking them for a little bit of a ride as they get back into the single note streams. They're going to be able to recover some of their accuracy here, but Sirbeyy is still about that 99% mark, about a full 2% as they eventually find the trade back here.
Yeah, that's two more missed buff here from Sirbeyy, so it doesn't really change a whole lot, and it trade is back again. So we're still at equal to Sirbey's lead here.
Both players able to handle some of these split trolls. Can definitely mess you up if you don't start them off on the right foot, but both faring very well. As I said, Jungle actually finding a break on the sliders, transitioning back into the streams, and puts a little bit of a damper on their recovery run here. Going to need to get back up with that 400 combo cap to stem some of the bleeding here. Sirbeyy building their advantage now as they begin to cross that 20,000 point mark. Still two-thirds of the map left to go, though.
There's another miss to offset the lead, the score difference actually. But I mean, Jungle's actually recovering a lot faster than it seems, but takes a bit more miss than that.
Yeah, it's definitely a time where combo gaming needs to kind of come into the vocabulary for both of these players to, one, take advantage of some of these advantages, and two, to recover some of the points lost as they continue on, because nobody seems to want to stay above that 400 combo cap for too long. So there is windows of opportunities in this match. I think we'll see it develop more and more as we go along.
Misreading the trails like that is just catastrophic, because you would just miss a whole trail like that.
Yeah, it definitely hurts at the end of the day, and just little chords here and there kind of tripping up Jungle at the moment, and Sirbeyy still to the tune of about 0.7% ahead at the moment. 40,000 points, the difference between the two players. Last quarter of the chart still coming through here.
Mixing another core, it does seem. Actually, that took a big chunk of the HP right there. Now below 98% from Jungle.
Yeah, very precarious diff spike. Handled relatively decently by both players, but Sirbeyy coming out the beneficiary of that exchange. And gonna be able to successfully capitalize on this breakpoint to make it 1-3. And if you're Jungle, what do you opt to go for here? You still have 2 LN charts and the hybrid pool as well. Some considerations needing to be made as we get further into this match.
And given that this is also Sirbey's own pick, I mean, this is relatively within this comfort zone. And Sirbeyy still has a lot to go with the other ice picks. And I mean, Jungle does have the other 2 LN picks that aren't as egregious as in the difficulty wise. So like a little story would be work here because of the it just all matters in the more easier coordination. So it just seemed to be the case for jungle.
Alrighty, so waiting on jungle's next pick.
All right, this going for a crush alcohol here. Another more LN pick that we're starting to exhaust more of the Rice versus LN picks here. We're just leaving it a high risk there.
Yeah, good thing is that they are around to be chosen. It's just a matter of when they decide to go for them. I wonder if they're just gonna ride out the rest of the LNs for this match. Just go LN3, then LN2, and maybe just coin flip one of the two hybrids if they get an opportunity to choose them.
Yeah, this one is a bit more. I mean, this is a bit more in terms of a denser-ish side of the LNs, but not really by much. Really, it's just if I think in Sirbey's case is more of a if you keep combo longer enough than in jungle, you basically have the massive advantage right here.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops here as we load in to LN3 here.
Not especially a good start by jungle by any means, but it's certainly not a miss. So I mean that's still a lot to go with this charge.
Yeah, picking up a very early 100, just put a nice little dent into their accuracy, but quickly beginning to build it up, now overtaking Sirbeyy through this introduction, climbing back up to that 99.4 range, showing off their comfort on these LN picks. There's still plenty of time for Sirbeyy to bring it up here, but that gap is starting to extend, and that miss is going to make matters worse for Sirbeyy as jungle begins to build their advantage here.
Another miss by Sirbeyy here. That's already almost a whole percent in terms of score difference, but it's going to change a little bit until we get to the second half of the chart.
Yeah, we just barely cleared the first quarter here. Still 2/3 of the chart left to go. About 0.5% in favor of jungle in terms of accuracy, but finding the slider break here, going to ruin their full combo run and give Sirbeyy an opportunity to kind of chip away at this lead now.
Needs to watch out because given Sirbey's ability to combo almost everything in this chart, the lead now starts to shrink if you're not careful to lose your marbles here in a little bit.
Yeah, but as the LN structures get a little bit more complicated, Sirbeyy finding a slider break and basically has to start that recovery run all over again. Jungle now over that 400 combo cap, going to be able to extend this lead. The opportunity presenting itself once again. And they have built it up. It was 9,000, now about 15,000 as we make our way into the last quarter of the chart. And Sirbeyy finding a drop as the cords start to run down here.
Yeah, all cords on these one house snaps here. So it does seem to favor jungle a lot more here, actually. Given the accuracy, this does still stay intact and even progressing up.
Yeah, it does find a slider break at the end of that section, but able to do a significant amount of damage in terms of building that score lead over Sirbeyy. And another little slip up here does put a little bit of a damper on things, but we are already at this outro. It would take a massive collapse on their end to swing this lead back over, and oh boy, oh boy.
There it is. But I mean, there's only about 9,000-ish. I mean, Sirbeyy did miss at the end, but Jungle's still trailing behind Sirbeyy. But that is a good point to make to at least catch up to Sirbey's now.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely have it within themselves to take one of these Rice breakpoints. They've shown that they have the ratio advantage. They just need to be able to keep that miss column clean to really take advantage. And if they are able to take one of these breakpoints, then we really start to get into consideration for what the strategy is once they exhaust all those LN picks.
And I mean, I think Sirbeyy is going to probably be making grounds for picking another rice pick. I think it's going to be Turk's pick. It's going to be Hydropia.
Yeah, unsurprising here, wanting to save the Core Jack and the Chord Stream picks for last. Maybe get rid of some of the more abrasive picks in this pool.
Yeah, I think this is. I think we're at the point where this is more of I guess almost braggedy-ish kind of pick, but not really that much. But I mean, I think this would definitely have more issues for jungle in this case.
Yeah, for sure. And you see the MP store command come out. Doesn't look like the chart loaded, but we'll see if we can get that fixed for you guys so we can get you guys into the action. At least for the moment, we'll transition to a bit of a podcast as we.
Yeah, a little bit to fix a little bit just to make sure maybe get setting up and ready. And I think judging by the prospects of this match, given that Jungle is still trailing behind Sirbeyy by like about 1 point, what did you think about the rest of the picks that are left in this pool? Actually, given there are not that many options for both of these players really after we exhausted all of those 2 categories.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be very interesting. I feel like the onus really falls on the more LN-oriented player to really hold their own in these types of matchups where we have the Rice versus LN dichotomy, because of the fact that the hybrids kind of bring in more Rice-oriented players to play if they can tank their way through some of the more complicated LN structures. Then it really becomes a test of ensuring to keep that accuracy as high as possible, keep the combo as high as possible too. As we get back into the action here, it looks like Jungle actually pulling ahead on this chart.
I mean, not to toot their own horns, but I think that these players that have a lot of trouble sustaining brackets, almost brackety streams here. But it does seem to having held their grounds a little bit for Jungle here.
Yeah, that window of opportunity presenting itself, and Jungle taking absolute advantage over it as we make our way into the last sliver of chart. Both players able to establish a bit more footing here. Sirbeyy finding another couple of misses. Jungle trading it back, but I think they built up enough of a gap. And as the chart comes to an end, Jungle successfully takes that breakpoint back that they gave away from earlier to make it 3-3 now.
Jungle has finally equalized that score gap, and the match is still ongoing. It's literally best of 5, and Sirbeyy did not picking this well into this match. I feel like, because this pick is very risky in terms of outscoring the ratios. I feel like, even though it had higher miscounts, but the 200s and the ratio is what makes it goes over the top for Jungle, and Jungle has no breaks whatsoever picking the last LN here.
Yeah, unsurprising. They've ridden the LNs to the end. For better or for worse, to give away one of the breakpoints, but I mean, potentially going 3 for 4 isn't bad, especially because of the fact that they were able to take one of those breakpoints backs off of Sirbeyy. So when all is said and done, no harm, no foul. And like you said, it essentially becomes a best of 5 now.
This pick, I mean, this was a really flashy throwback from like what 2018, where Thumb Cup existed. This was one of the qualifiers for it, and I played this before, and I think this was like a really good decision for Jungle to make it, because this would more focus on accuracy, but this is it's much lighter than any of the coordination picks that we've seen from LNs here, and I think this favors Jungle really well here. If you can maintain the combo, of course, but the ratio is all that matters here.
Yeah, so parity has been restored between these two players. Basically a cleansing of the palette. Ignore all the picks that came before. This is now basically a best of 5. and we start anew. Jungle picking an LN chart, the last LN chart in this pool. And right now, actually behind in terms of accuracy, just for the moment, about 0.4% in favor of Sirbeyy, and Jungle actually picking up the first slider break as well.
Yeah, before the slider breaks that the Jungle had, they dropped like two 100s on the trail on the 676 column, so that might explain why the accuracy is a little bit lower than you expected it to be.
Yeah, I see another couple hundreds coming out. Sirbeyy not trading that miss back, now above that 400 combo cap. So guys are getting full credit for these judgments moving forward, and they have now taken the accuracy lead by about a tenth of a percent. As I say that,
goes rapidly. Actually, Sirbeyy dropping as well. Actually, the accuracy is all even now.
Yeah, these exchanges are pretty wild back and forth.
There's a miss on the 676 column from Jungle there. He kind of doesn't really know how to properly coordinate the 676 column right there. There's another one actually.
Yeah, there's always some aspect where your hand just doesn't want to respond to what it's being asked of, and Jungle faring a little bit worse for wear in those exchanges as we're going into the back half of the chart. Still plenty of time for them to make the recovery run here, but these slider breaks aren't going to help matters as Sirbeyy begins to build their lead. And as I say that, actually finding the drop as well, so potentially no harm, no foul, but it's gonna come down to the wire. This map isn't as densely charted as some of the other LN picks, so recovering to that 400 combo cap becomes a bit of a tall task, to the point where if you are able to get up there and stay up there, you can actually do some pretty significant score damage to your opponent.
Well, there's a messy judgment there by Jungle. I saw like 100 and maybe a 50 actually, and Sirbeyy actually taking a drop there. Maybe this starts to get a little bit closer than I thought it would be. It's like about 10,000-ish.
Yeah, it's funny. I take the 50s and 100s to hold on to the combo any day, as opposed to finding the slider break as both of them. Okay, again, we are coordinated in the misses here going into the back half of the chart. About a quarter left to go between these two players. Sirbeyy still ahead in terms of accuracy by about 0.3% and still able to hold on to the score lead. They have been faring a lot better in the exchanges between the two whenever they do find the drops. And it's just a little bit more coordination left to go through as Jungle finds another slider break, just letting go of the finger too early.
I think this has been the case for both of these players, really. There has been some issues where you would normally see three note core that you would just release one LN too early, and I think this would have been the case. But this pick does not work for Jungle, it very seems, and Sirbeyy is going to take another break point.
Indeed, and now the ratio actually about as close as it has been. And whenever we have these situations, Sirbeyy just able to keep it together just that little bit longer to take full advantage. But as we saw at the end of Rice 5 there, Jungle able to pull out some of these Rice shards, and Sirbeyy actually going to be the first one to go into the hybrid pool.
All right, they're picking one of the two hybrids left there. It's going to be Live is Piano, and oh boy, this is actually looking spicy, given we've seen Take as one of the warm-ups that I think this would have been almost a close comparison to that, but this is just one round higher. So I'm interested to see what this actually going to play out.
For sure, there's definitely been some interesting exchanges between these two players so far this match. Neither really taking that two to three step advantage over their opponent. They have kept each other within striking distance for large majorities of this match, and it'd be interesting to see if Jungle can answer back after giving away a second break point here to make it a best of three, basically.
Oh my god, look at that. The accuracy after the first 100 noses is literally the same.
Yeah, I think that perfectly exemplifies it. We have an LN bias player versus a Rice bias player. They are dead even on the hybrids.
Okay, this is not. I mean, the patterns are getting a little bit more complicated, but at the moment it does seem to be. Well, I wouldn't really call it a lead because unless someone misses like that, yeah, like Sirbeyy, but that's one still because we still have 3 quarters left to the chart.
Yeah, but this is significantly shorter than some of the other charts we have been playing through. And Sirbeyy finding another drop here. The misses really do get amplified on these shorter charts, and Jungle really exemplifying that 24,000 points now in the lead, holding on to their FC as we transition into this little bit of a break section. Still half the chart left to go, but looking very comfortable on this so far is Jungle as Sirbeyy tries to make that recovery run. Not out of it just yet, but gonna have to put together a back half of a lifetime here.
Not only FC, but FC with almost a 99.7. I think that might have been the first thing that I've seen from any chart up until this late into the chart.
Yeah, it does find a couple of stray bad judgments there, but still able to hold on to their combo. Sirbeyy actually kind of finding their falling apart moment here. Yeah, getting lost in some of these columns, getting a little bit too over encumbered with what's being asked of them, and falling about a full % behind in terms of accuracy. And Jungle, again, the beneficiary of that, and taking this advantage and able to take that breakpoint back.
Wow.
We're down to the last level of the chart, 50,000 points to lead. A commanding performance, one of the best ones we have seen from either of these players so far.
And I think this seemed to be, I think, full combo around Jungle's part, actually. Wow. That's the first I've seen from with this match, actually.
Very strong performance. That 50 so close to finding the combo break, but able to keep it together the entire way through. And that's what's needed to answer back on some of these picks. And I think even Jungle's surprised by that performance. I don't think they were expecting to be able to FC that on command. And we're now tied 4-4.
Here's the thing. We still don't know what to expect from Jungle to pick here, because it actually opens up for another hybrid, which it could be an advantage for him, but we're still essentially best of 3. And Jungle now has an avenue to pick hybrid now, because Allens are exhausted right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pick strategy was going to transition down into the hybrids for Jungle before too long. I think Sirbeyy maybe being a little bit too cautious with the core stream and core jack picks.
And there it is.
Hybrid 3, unsurprisingly, the road has opened up for Jungle to be able to at least force a tiebreaker to come out between these two players. It's just a matter of if they can seize that opportunity to make it match point in their favor and force Sirbeyy to respond on one of these rice charts.
Involuntarily, I think Sirbeyy made Jungle's job even easier by actually picking the hybrid just to test the waters, and it really backfired on him.
Yeah, now it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. They can still very well take this as a breakpoint and then finish it out on their own pick. So, not out of the woods yet for either of these players. They have shown that they are basically on level pegging when it comes to being able to put out good performances on command on this map pool.
But also, yeah, here's the thing though, because this map is quite the legacy, and by legacy, it has some couple of bad eggs in the patterns. So there's some risk involved and is prone to choke for most of them, especially with the Ellen usage.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle of if there's complicated rice patternings, if Jungle can hold on, and then if there's complicated LN patterning, if Sirbeyy can hold on. It's a pretty interesting balance that you have to strike on these hybrid picks, and Sirbeyy actually finding the first drop on the transition into the first chorus here.
And Jungle, for some reason, having 99.8 for a while now, but starting to drop a little bit. But I mean, it's not dropping combo yet.
You say yet, as if there was anticipation, and Sirbeyy actually the one answering the call there, finding another slip up, and down into the 97% range. The accuracy gap between these two players now a full %, as Jungle looks very comfortable on his hybrid chart so far. Sirbeyy picking up another one here, going to help extend this lead to about 25,000 points and climbing now.
Yeah, this is so extend the lead even further. Jungle hasn't missed once on the hybrids.
I think they found their calling. They found their answer in this map pool. When the LNs didn't fully go their way, they've found a bit of a refuge here, and just in the nick of time, it was looking a little bit bleak there for a moment when Sirbeyy was able to capitalize on that breakpoint, but able to restore parity here, and both of them synchronized misses, does lose the full combo, but they have built up such a massive cushion going into the last sort of the chart that they can basically tank their way through that and continue on as if though nothing happened. That is the virtue of being able to hold on to a combo for a significant portion of time when your opponent can't.
Yeah, the miss on the... I mean, the misses on both of these players were all on the mini jack, so that's understandably so. That transition is very hard.
And now we continue on, both players above that 400 combo cap very comfortably, but I think the work that Jungle was able to put in at the beginning paying off in spades as both of them begin to kind of get taken for a ride here at this ending, but the lead isn't shrinking by any stretch of the imagination as we finish it out here. And Jungle is going to make it a match point situation. 5-4 now with Sirbeyy, all to do now. Push to the brink of a potential elimination here in the quarterfinals. They need to find the answer. Is it going to be Rice 2 or is it going to be Rice 3?
It's either a core stream or is a core jack. And again, this is finally the time that I can say that Jungle is now in the lead for actually treading behind, coming from behind. Actually, I might add.
Yeah, they were pushed to their limits very early on, but they've kind of settled in, and it hasn't looked pretty at points because of basically the discomfort on the Rice, but being able to show up when they've needed to. And that's exactly what you need to make it far into some of these tournaments. Whenever you get put in a bad situation, how you recover from that is such an important element that people need to keep in mind. And being able to keep yourself in the headspace of like, okay, I can still win this, to be able to make it this far. And now guaranteeing themselves a tiebreaker at the very least. And that's a bit of a coin toss, I feel like, given the performance of both of these players.
I mean, the thing is that given Jungle's performances are also very good on the core stream side, but we still have no information whatsoever how they're going to do the core jack. And Sirbeyy doesn't really have much of a choice other than the core jack pick.
Yeah, they're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. I think that Rice 4 ban is actually one of the smartest bans we have seen so far in this round. It really did pinch Sirbey's picks in terms of potentially getting Jungle a map that they're comfortable on. And it's going to be Rice 2. We're going to go Chord Stream instead of Chord Jack.
Alright, this is the only thing we see, the final pick of we've seen from the regular pool. I mean, unless we can see the tiebreaker in the horizon, but Sirbeyy needs to nail this 100% if you want to get to it. If you want to get to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, just like how Jungle was able to pull out some of these performances out of the bag, Sirbeyy needs to put together a run of a lifetime to get to the tiebreaker. They have shown that they're capable of doing it, but Jungle has had that ratio advantage. It's really just come down to the combo. So Sirbeyy can keep it clean. Maybe not with the best pristine accuracy, but just enough to get them over the line is going to be the name of the game on this chart in particular. And then they can settle it like men on the tiebreaker.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a do or die for Sirbeyy right now, since the only thing left is from this entire chart is to combo as long as you can.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a heart-and-mouth moment if you are supporting one of these players. If you're supporting Jungle, you want them to be able to close this out and not have to decide it on the tiebreaker. If you're Sirbeyy, you want to get it to that tiebreaker to really see if you can pull it through. And like I was saying earlier, if they do go to tiebreaker, I'm not really sure who has the advantage here. They have traded some of these picks back and forth to the point where it really just comes down to the style of the tiebreaker, which one it favors, and it could very well be a 50-50 split.
Team so far has some established not that much of a lead.
It is 200%. It is 181 points, and it did not flicker for any of those 1-1 anchors.
Jungle seems to have some advantage over the cores, and it does seem to favor him well enough. But one miss could just literally make this flicker.
Oh god, this is way too close to call. It is within 2,000 points. This is going to come down to the wire, but Jungle. But it's a very clean one. That was basically a.
Sirbeyy.
Oh, Sirbeyy actually is taking significantly more damage as the chords get a little bit denser to read through, and that is gonna be a full % advantage in favor of Jungle as they find a slip up as well.
But it needs more than that because the accuracy is just about a whole % of advantage right there. It's like 21,000 points of difference.
Yeah, but we have seen swings this large in this match already. There's a third of the chart left to go. Jungle finds a miss transitioning back into the section, not traded back by Sirbeyy, but as I say that, they do eventually trade once again.
Actually, the drop is actually kind of significant for Jungle, but Sirbeyy is taking a lot more damage as time goes on. It's now the leads actually kind of just stay around where it is.
Yeah, Jungle able to keep their head above water, above that 99% mark. They do eventually fall down below it, but I think the damage has been done, and there's only an eighth of the chart left to go. It's going to take an absolute collapse here from the side of Jungle, but I don't think there's enough tricks left up this map sleeve to make that a reality. As Bancho tries to keep everything in sync here, it is still about a full % in their favor, 33,000 points the margin, and it looks like despite Sirbeyy picking up that 3-1 advantage early on, Jungle is going to be able to pull off the comeback here and close this match out by a margin of 6-4, knocking Sirbeyy out of MALT and securing their spot in the second half of quarterfinals weekend.
Absolutely, and just by judging all these scores, this is what actually plays to the Jungle strengths. Really, the ratio is actually outclassing Sirbeyy right now, and it's actually pulling off the lead here. And again, congratulations to Jungle, really, for actually managing to come from behind strategy from 3-1 to managing to win 6-4. And commiserations as well for Sirbeyy for managing to make it this far, even into the quarterfinals, which I believe quarterfinals is literally what you would expect from a qualifier's difficulty would be, even though a little bit harder.
Yeah, for sure. So with that being said, that will do it for this block of one match. We'll be taking a pretty significant break between now and the next match, which will be at 2 UTC in about 7 hours. It's going to be Shigetashi taking on Orkanos, and then following that, we're going to have Silueska Els taking on Delta 386 in the winner's bracket. They shot for the winner's semis on the line for those two. But with that being said, that will do it for us here. Until then, we'll catch you guys later.